The one-man Air Force. It sounds like Hollywood fiction, a pilot's impossible boast. Yet on January 11th, 1944, in the frozen, hostile skies 26,000 feet above Oschersleben, Germany, this legend became terrifying, undeniable reality. One American aviator, one P-51 Mustang, against the entire might of the Luftwaffe's elite fighter squadrons. For 30 minutes that defied physics, probability, and military doctrine, Lieutenant Colonel James Howell Howard would fight a battle that still baffles historians today. This isn't just a war story. This is the unbelievable true account of courage that earned the Medal of Honor and changed daylight bombing over Europe forever. James Howard was no ordinary pilot. By 1944, he'd already lived a wartime epic. Fresh from medical school in 1941, he joined the legendary American volunteer group, Chennault's Flying Tigers. Flying the P-40 Warhawk over the treacherous skies of Burma and China, Howard learned brutal lessons in aerial combat against the Japanese. He claimed 6 confirmed kills, earning his ace status in some of the war's most difficult conditions. But his war was just beginning. Returning to the U.S. Army Air Forces, Howard found himself commanding the 356th Fighter Squadron of the 354th Fighter Group, the Pioneer Mustang Group. They were the first to fly the revolutionary P-51 Mustang, a plane that would change everything. With its Rolls-Royce Merlin engine and sleek laminar flow wings, it could finally escort bombers all the way to Berlin and back. But on January 11th, 1944, Howard's mission wasn't Berlin. The target was the Focke-Wulf aircraft factory complex at Oschersleben, a vital cog in Germany's fighter production. The 8th Air Force was sending 238 B-17 Flying Fortresses and 104 B-24 Liberators deep into enemy territory. They would need every bit of protection Howard's 48 Mustangs could provide. Takeoff from RAF Boxted came before dawn. Temperatures hovered at minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit at altitude. Pilots wore electrically heated suits, but frostbite remained a constant threat. As they climbed to 26,000 feet, Howard's Mustangs rendezvoused with the bomber stream near Walcheren Island. The formation stretched over 50 miles, a breathtaking, terrifying spectacle of American industrial might and human vulnerability. Howard deployed his squadron strategically. 2 flights flew close escort directly with the bombers. 2 more flew top cover, 2,000 feet above. Howard himself led the 5th flight as fighter sweep, roaming ahead to intercept threats. For the first hours, the mission proceeded with nerve-wracking normality. Then, as they crossed into Germany near Dummer Lake, radio chatter exploded. Bogies, 10 o'clock high. Not just a few, not even a squadron. Over 30 German fighters, a mix of Messerschmitt Bf-109Gs and heavily armed Focke-Wulf V-190A8 Sturmböcke, dove from the sun. What happened next was every bomber crew's nightmare. The German fighters, ignoring the American escorts, dove straight for the B-17S. Howard's pilots reacted instantly, diving to intercept. In the swirling chaos that followed, formations shattered. Individual dogfights erupted across 100 square miles of sky. Aircraft contrails twisted into impossible knots. And in the melee, Howard made a chilling discovery. Looking around his canopy, he saw only empty sky where his wingmen should be. His squadron had been drawn away, scattered in desperate individual combats. He was alone. Below him, the B-17 AWS of the 401st Bomb Group began their bomb run over Oschersleben. And ahead, a fresh wave of German fighters, perhaps 15 more, was forming up for the kill. Howard faced an impossible decision. Doctrine demanded he find his squadron, regroup, and fight with numbers. But the bombers were seconds from annihilation. He radioed his situation, but received only static in reply. The fate of hundreds of airmen, navigators, bombardiers, gunners, pilots now rested on one man's fuel, ammunition, and courage. Howard didn't hesitate. Pushing his throttle to war emergency power, the Merlin engine roared. He dove not away from danger, but directly into the heart of the German formation. His tactics were brilliant in their simplicity: disrupt, disorganize, and never let the enemy attack coherently. He would pick a section of German fighters lining up on a B-17, make a high-speed firing pass to break their concentration, then use the Mustang's superior climb rate to regain altitude before diving again. He wasn't trying to shoot them all down. He was trying to buy time. At one point, 6 German fighters turned on him specifically. In a furious, twisting dogfight, Howard outmaneuvered them all, sending one FW-190 spinning down in flames. German pilots later reported being confused and frustrated by this single, relentless Mustang that seemed to be everywhere at once. For 30 minutes, an eternity in aerial combat, Howard fought what amounted to a private war. He made an estimated 12 separate attacks. His .50 caliber machine guns fired until ammunition ran low. His fuel gauges dipped dangerously toward empty. On the ground, German flak batteries added their own hell to the sky. But Howard kept fighting through the black bursts of shrapnel. Finally, with fuel critical and ammunition nearly exhausted, Howard broke away. The German attacks had been shattered. The bomber stream, though battered, 21 bombers would be lost that day, completed its run and turned for home. Howard's own return was a nerve-wracking glide on fumes. Back at Boxted, his debriefing was characteristically modest. "I seen my duty, and I done it." But the bomber crews told a different story. Gunners and pilots from multiple B-17 submitted nearly identical reports, describing a single P-51 fighting off dozens of German attackers. Their accounts were so compelling that they triggered a high-level investigation. The result: on June 5, 1944, the day before D-Day, James H. Howard received the Medal of Honor from General Karl Spaatz. He was the first and only fighter pilot in the European theater awarded the medal for aerial combat. The citation read in part, "For conspicuous gallantry, Lieutenant Colonel Howard, alone, repeatedly attacked this enemy formation. With dauntless courage and superb skill, he dispersed it." Howard survived the war with 6.25 total victories. He later served in Korea and retired as a brigadier general. But his true legacy lies in those 30 minutes over Oschersleben. The raid itself struck a significant blow to German fighter production. More importantly, it proved beyond doubt the P-51 Mustang's revolutionary value, a lesson that would help win the air war over Europe. James H. Howard passed away in 1995, but his unbelievable hour endures, not as myth, but as documented history, a testament to what one determined individual can accomplish against impossible odds. In those frozen skies, he was more than a pilot. He was a shield. He was truly a one-man Air Force. This was just one of countless extraordinary stories from the Second World War. Stories of courage, sacrifice, and moments where history hung in the balance. Subscribe to our channel as we continue to bring these forgotten chapters of history back to life, one unbelievable story at a time.